In the dressing room, Paul McCartney was wiping the sweat off his forehead after another unforgettable show. Outside, the crowd was still buzzing with energy, but something inside him felt restless. Just before heading to the hotel, one of his security guys came over and mentioned that a little girl was waiting for him outside the stadium. Intrigued and touched, the singer asked that she be let in. When the door swung open, in walked Anna, a slight little girl dressed in simple clothes with an intense, hopeful look in her eyes. "Would you like a photo or an autograph?" Paul asked warmly, but her response caught him off guard. "No, Mr. McCartney, I don't want money or gifts. I just need to ask you something," she said, clutching her tiny fists close to her side. Used to handling requests from excited fans and children, Paul leaned in to hear her better. "What do you need, sweetheart?" he asked, expecting something ordinary. Instead, Anna swallowed hard and with a quivering voice explained, "I want you to sing a song for my mom, Lucy. She's in the hospital, and maybe she won't get to hear you sing again." Paul's heart skipped a beat. He had heard many touching requests before, but this one carried a special weight. He took a deep breath, feeling a lump in his throat, and gently asked, "And where is your mom, dear?" With tear-filled eyes, Anna replied softly, "She's at the city hospital, fighting a sickness." She explained that she had promised her mom this one last memory of his singing. Paul blinked a few times, struggling to hold back his tears. It wasn't just a simple request, it was a heartfelt goodbye. This little girl wasn't after fame, money, or just a moment with a star. She wanted to give her mom an unforgettable gift, a moment of pure happiness before the inevitable. "Let's go see your mom now," he said, taking her fragile hand. Even though his bodyguard expressed concerns about leaving abruptly, Paul just nodded with determination. As they drove through quiet streets, Anna held a little teddy bear tight against her chest. No one could find the right words for that moment. Paul looked at Anna, impressed by the strength in her eyes. "What's your mom's favorite song?" he asked. "Yesterday," she replied. "It always makes her cry." She explained how that song had touched her mom's life deeply. When they arrived at the hospital, they were greeted by a surprised nurse who couldn't believe the famous singer was there. Anna ran along the corridor, guiding Paul to a small room at the end of the hall. There, lying on crisp white sheets with an IV in her arm, was a thin, pale woman who still managed a gentle smile. At the sight of her daughter, her eyes lit up when she saw Paul at the doorway. "Oh my God, am I dreaming?" she whispered, struggling to sit up. Paul moved slowly toward her, took her hand tenderly, and knelt beside the bed. "Your daughter asked me to do something I couldn't refuse," he said with a smile full of emotion. And then, without any need for a microphone, stage, or bright lights, he began to sing. His voice filled the small room with a melody brimming with love and farewell. The woman brought her hands to her face and cried softly as the notes floated in the air. Gently, she squeezed her daughter's hand and murmured, "Thank you, my darling. You've given me the best gift in the world." Paul couldn't hold back his tears. This was one of the most significant moments of his career, not for the glitz, but for the genuine emotion. Between her tears, Anna smiled and said, "She's happy, Mr. McCartney, and that's what matters." That very night, Paul decided he wanted to know more about Anna and her mom. With help from his team, he learned that the family was struggling in very tough conditions. Moved by the emotion and driven to make a difference, he planned a surprise that would change the little girl's life forever. The very next day, he would return to the hospital with a gift that no one could have imagined. A week later, at dawn, Paul was up and ready, filled with anticipation. He and his team had organized everything: a new house, proper medical treatment, and financial support for Anna and her mom, Lucy. When he arrived at the hospital, he found Anna sitting by her mom's bedside, holding her hand lovingly. Lucy, though looking weak, smiled when she saw Paul again. "I don't know how to thank you," she whispered with difficulty. Paul knelt down and held Anna's hand, saying, "Thank you by taking good care of yourselves. From now on, you'll have everything you need." He handed over the keys to a new home and assured them they would receive full medical care. The room was filled with emotion as Anna hugged him tightly, crying, "Thank you, Mr. McCartney. You've worked a real miracle in our lives." In the days that followed, Lucy began receiving the proper treatment and all the support she needed. Their new house, though modest, was warm and full of hope. A fresh start. Anna went back to school and started enjoying a childhood filled with dignity, free from constant worry. Paul stayed in touch, checking in on Lucy's recovery and watching Anna grow. Over the months, Lucy transformed, not just physically but emotionally as well. The scars of the past slowly healed. The help Paul provided wasn't just about medicine. It included psychological support, guiding her as she faced her fears and inner demons. She, who had always felt invisible, now saw a renewed purpose in life. The small job Lucy began doing at a local shop made her feel useful, independent, and capable. Even the first earnings, though modest, had a special taste. It was the first fruit of her own hard work. Anna, with her contagious enthusiasm, grew more determined every day. She loved going to school, and genuine friendships boosted her confidence. Lucy watched her daughter with immense pride and relief. Anna was living a life she had never imagined, one that Paul had helped create. Each night, before sleeping, they sat together on the porch of their new home, gazing at the stars and talking about the future. With every conversation, Lucy began to believe that there were no limits to what they could achieve, that dreams could really come true. For Paul, this whole experience changed him as well. The bond he formed with Anna made him reflect on his own life and what truly mattered. On stage, he no longer wanted to be seen just as a celebrity. He wanted to be remembered as someone who made a real difference in people's lives. He kept visiting the family, but now their chats were more personal. He encouraged Anna in her studies and supported Lucy every step of the way during her recovery, both physically and emotionally. Realizing that his simple act of kindness had transformed their lives, Paul felt that he was finally doing something that truly mattered. The impact of that new chapter in their lives was deep and lasting. Anna never forgot the moment when Paul handed her the house keys and promised her a better future. Those words stayed with her, and whenever she faced a challenge, she remembered the strength of her mom and the man who had given her a second chance. In the days that followed, moving into their new home completely changed the rhythm of life for Anna and Lucy. Their home, although simple, came to represent everything they had ever dreamed of: safety, comfort, and the feeling of belonging. The once empty walls soon filled with color and pictures of a smiling mother and daughter. Neighbors quickly noticed the transformation. Lucy's smile became a constant, something she hadn't felt in a long time. And Anna could hardly believe that at last she was attending a school where she felt welcome. The other kids looked at her with admiration, and she began to shine in class. Paul's generosity not only gave them a home, but also rekindled their hope to dream again. The little girl, who had once settled for merely surviving, now dared to imagine a bright future. Every afternoon, as she studied with the new books Paul sent her, Anna felt herself getting closer to becoming who she always wanted to be, someone free to choose her own path without limits. Paul's visits became more frequent. He didn't just show up to offer a one-time handout and then disappear. He truly cared. Every time he came, he brought not just gifts, but moments filled with attention and warmth. Lucy, with tearful eyes, couldn't hide the deep gratitude she felt. Paul's kindness was like a beacon lighting their way. A mother who had once feared tomorrow now saw possibilities on the horizon. The financial support wasn't just a temporary fix. It was an opportunity to build a new life, a fresh start for both of them. There were nights when Lucy worried about the challenges still ahead, but seeing Anna smile by her side, she knew they had already overcome the impossible. Every step they took together was a victory. That act of kindness also changed Paul's life. Amid all his success, he came to understand that fame wasn't everything. By helping Anna and Lucy, he discovered that true greatness lies in giving to others. Over the months, Anna blossomed remarkably, becoming an inspiration to other kids at school. Despite the challenges, she proved that there's always room for joy and hope. With a firm resolve, she started dreaming big. "I want to be a doctor. I want to help people, just like you helped me," she said confidently. Paul smiled, his eyes filled with pride, and replied, "You could be anything you want, sweetheart. The world is yours." In that modest home, full of love and new dreams, Lucy and Anna discovered the strength that had always been inside them. Before long, Paul had not only helped rebuild their lives, but also set them free emotionally, giving them a whole new way to look at life. The day of Anna's graduation finally arrived, and you could feel the emotion in the air. She had walked a tough road, filled with challenges and victories that shaped her. The auditorium was packed with family, friends, and classmates, all there to celebrate a new beginning. Anna, dressed in her graduation outfit, looked radiant. Lucy sat in the front row, her eyes brimming with tears of pride as she watched her daughter achieve a dream that once seemed impossible. But what no one expected was Anna's heartfelt gesture when she stepped onto the stage. When it was her turn to speak, she grabbed the microphone with the same confidence she'd built over the years. Everyone anticipated a typical graduation speech, but Anna had something much more important to say. She took a deep breath, looked out at the audience, and said firmly, "Today we're not just celebrating the end of a chapter, but the start of something much bigger. This graduation isn't only about my hard work. It's about the support and belief of everyone who helped me get here, even when I doubted myself. I couldn't have made it alone." She paused, smiled warmly at her mom, Lucy, who beamed with pride, and continued, "But there's one person to whom I owe so much. Without him, my life would be completely different when I was just a little girl with an uncertain future. That person reached out and changed everything. Today, I'm a doctor because of that man." Anna then turned her gaze toward Paul, who was sitting in the audience, and invited him onto the stage. "I want to thank you, Mr. Mccartney. You transformed my life, gave me the chance to start over, and brought hope when I thought there was none. You taught me that real greatness isn't measured by recognition, but by the impact we have on others. I'm a doctor today because you believed I deserved a chance, and that chance changed my future, so that every time I help my patients, I'll remember it all started with you." The audience fell silent, absorbing every word. Some had tears in their eyes as they listened. Paul, clearly moved, stood up and applauded. With sparkling eyes, Anna felt a surge of gratitude fill her heart. She knew that moment wasn't just a way to say thank you. It was a chance to share her truth and honor the power of kindness. As the applause filled the room, Anna felt the weight of every effort that had brought her to this day. She wasn't just celebrating her graduation. She was celebrating a life rebuilt, a life that began with the generosity of someone who didn't hesitate to help. Paul, watching closely, realized that this moment wasn't only public recognition. It was proof that he had fulfilled his mission. He wasn't just a famous singer. He had planted a seed of hope in a life that might have turned out very differently. Shortly after graduation, Anna started to gain recognition at the hospital where she began her residency. Her name soon spread among the doctors in the city, and people were impressed by her talent and strong work ethic. In no time, the young doctor, who once lived in a modest home facing many hardships, became a respected figure in the medical community. The city admired her not only for her achievements, but also for the warmth and care with which she treated every patient. The little girl who was once saved by an act of kindness was now saving lives with the same compassion she had received. And all along, her mom remained her biggest supporter, celebrating every success and helping her overcome the challenges of the profession. For both of them, life was no longer just about getting by. It was about living with purpose. Years later, Anna, now recognized as one of the city's most outstanding doctors, was invited to speak at a medical conference about her journey. During her talk, she shared her story with everyone, emphasizing how love and empathy can transform lives. When she finished, the audience gave her a standing ovation, not just for the exceptional doctor she had become, but for the kind-hearted person she always was. She concluded by saying, "Never underestimate the power of a kind gesture. Sometimes, what seems like a small act can change someone's life forever." That's what happened to me, and that's why my mission is to do the same for others. Anna was no longer just a little girl saved by a miracle. She had grown into a woman defined by love, strength, and courage, a woman ready to change the world, one patient at a time. Her journey shone through every decision she made, always reminding her of the challenges she had overcome. She knew that being a doctor wasn't merely a job. It was a calling to help others, just as she had once been helped. If Anna's story has touched you, please give this a like and subscribe for more inspiring stories of hope and resilience. Share this video with your friends and family, and leave a comment below. Let's keep spreading the power of empathy and love. See you next time.